Alright guys, this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Nolan Unejo, who asked me to do a three-way crossover and a sequel to his Jurassic World, Dino Crisis, and Resident Evil crossover. So this is a massive three-way crossover between all three franchises. So yeah. Also, apparently, I had gotten it wrong earlier, because I was like, when I did it the last time, I was like, I feel like I've done this before, and it turns out, yes, I didn't see the 2, so this is the sequel to that video. But, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the 3rd tier, and you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube, as well as have access to all the exclusive videos over on YouTube as well. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So, this story, the first one took place roughly after the events of Jurassic World, and this is going to take place in the time frame of set between... Well, actually, no. This is actually set after Dominion. This is going to be set after Jurassic World Dominion, where we're letting the dinosaurs coexist and all of that, and it's a thing. Which I've been kind of thinking on, side note, I've been thinking of making a video on why letting the dinosaurs just be free is a really bad idea. As someone who loves dinosaurs and would love to see that, I understand that, environmentally, that's a horrible idea, and probably why that ending bothered me to no end. Excuse me. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But this is after the fall of Biosyn, or the flux of Biosyn, because Dotson is no more, but Biosyn is still a thing. It's crippled horribly. It's horribly crippled, but it's still working. Now, with dinosaurs all over roaming freely from herbivores to carnivores, there's obviously some problems here and there. And one of those problems is that they're basically free test subjects. They are animals that can be rounded up. By who? The Umbrella Corporation. And the Umbrella Corporation has been harvesting dinosaurs now out in the open, rather than crossing over onto the island to get what they want. It's basically like, yeah, we did this before, but now there's so many out in the world that they're considered pests. So the Umbrella Corporation is actually collecting dinosaurs. In fact, the Umbrella Corporation is going one step further and is actually collecting and actually buying out Biosyn. They're actually doing what the Maserati Corporation did to InGen, where they're just buying out Biosyn and taking over the assets. Now, they can't claim the valley yet, but there's a legal battle to claim the valley for the dinosaurs. Now, not only does Biosyn, have mountains of data, not to the level InGen did, but it's enough for the Umbrella Corporation to, learn and study all of the data that InGen had at their disposal, that InGen had. So Biosyn is being, the Umbrella is basically rooting through Biosyn's data to look for anything of use to them. Now, obviously, Umbrella's tampering has kind of not gone unnoticed by Claire Redfield, as well as Jill Valentine. They're both like, yeah, this is a bad thing of having... the dinosaurs are one thing, but now that the Umbrella Corporation is back on their bullshit again, and more importantly, they're out there trying to, harvest DNA of dinosaurs, is a really scary idea, because who knows what they could create. So, essentially what happens is that there is a more or less just we need to figure out what they're trying to do. They've come to the consensus of we need to figure out what the Umbrella Corporation wants and what they can find from Biosyn and take it before they do, and take it and hopefully destroy it before they do. Now, the big thing is that they actually go to the Jill actually goes to meet with Dr. Grant. She meets Alan Grant, and she actually talks to him hey, you were at Biosyn, you saw what they could do with the locusts. I know something about this new company, the Umbrella Corporation, and I know that they make things worse than dinosaurs and worse than the locusts. I need your help, you and Dr. Sadler's help, in order to stop whatever they're doing. So, meanwhile, while this is going on, we now move over to the Dino Crisis side, because Regina has been tasked by the U.S. government. Yeah, because even they're like, oh yeah, the Umbrella Corporation's kind of overstepped their boundaries a few times, so it wouldn't hurt to have someone who deals with dinosaurs deal with them again. So Regina is sent in to the valley, to the Biosyn Valley, because now there's reports of former Biosyn agents going in with Umbrella Corporation troops. So Regina is going in there in order to stop them. So now, she goes in there, and she actually encounters Chris Redfield, who's also been he flies solo on this. He got dropped in, and the two of them are like, and Chris is like, you ran into Leon last time, right? And he's like, yeah, you must be Redfield. So Regina and Chris team up in order to stop Umbrella and the remnants of Biosyn. Now, you may be asking yourself, what are they trying to make? Like, what are they trying? What are they trying to harvest and make? Well, they're trying to make their own hybrid. They saw the power of both the Indominus and Indoraptor, and the Umbrella Corporation believes that they can make something even more horrific, because that's what they like to do, is just make nightmares. So they've been basically taking all the data they've had from that. Not only that, they've been extrapolating DNA and harvesting dinosaurs and taking like the best qualities in order to make a new horrific project. And that project in question is the Ultimasaurus. If you guys don't know what the Ultimasaurus is, it was part of a canceled toy line called Jurassic Park Chaos Effect, which was more or less making hybrid dinosaurs for an animated series from the 90s that never took off. So the Ultimasaurus was like meant to be the original nightmare hybrid, where it had like, it was made of Triceratops and T-Rex and Velociraptor and Ankylosaur and Stegosaur DNA. So they want to make the ultimate hybrid, and not only that, they even give it they give this version of the Ultimasaurus just a wee bit of a kick, because why, of course they would, because of course they would give this thing, make this thing more of a nightmare than it already is. And how, pray tell, do you think they did it? Well, what they did was they infected it with T-cells and augmented its regenerative abilities, as well as gave it, augmented its regenerative abilities, as well as gave it kind of the same, they even extrapolated and put in pieces of the Nemesis into the DNA, so now it has, it can form wings, it can actually, create tentacles like the Nemesis can, and make dinosaurs into zombies like Nemesis could. So they actually call it, instead of the Ultimasaurus, they called it the Ultimate Nemesis. They call it Nemesis Ultima. So Nemesis Ultima battles Regina and Chris. Meanwhile, Jill, Dr. Grant, and Grant and Sadler are actually meet up with them, and they're like, "Holy shit, that thing isn't human." So meanwhile, where Regina and Chris are like trying to battle it, they're trying to find a way to kill it. Like the other three are trying to find a way to kill it without leading to a mass exposure, because they realize if this thing dies in a certain way, if this thing dies, it'll release the T virus into the air. It'll make the T virus airborne and infect the entire countryside. Dinosaurs and humans alike would be infected by this virus, this new strain. So what they do is they use the data they steal from the Umbrella Corporation, or Biosyn Umbrella Corporation, take it and create an antidote and toss it. They've done that. Hand it to Chris. Tell him, here, shoot it in the mouth. You got to shoot it in the mouth. So he misses. They have and He misses. They only made 2, so one last shot. Regina takes it, and she gets it in the mouth. It has the antidote. It dies. Yeah. So by the end of it, the Umbrella Corporation is just like, maybe not. We won't do this. So we'll back out. So by the end of it, the Umbrella Corporation backs out of the deal. Everything goes back to normal. So there you go, guys. I don't know if I could make a part 3 out of this because I think I just blew the whole load there, but hopefully that was enough. That was good enough. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what you guys think of this 3-way sequel trilogy, sequel crossover, I should say. And yeah, once again, I'd like to thank Nolan and Aho for this Patreon request as well as continued patronage. And yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.